UFC Fight Night Vegas 36, Brunson versus Till just wrapped up, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap, because it was a very solid card overall, starting with the early prelim opener of Dalcha Lungiambula versus Marc-Andre Barriult. I picked Marc-Andre Barriult to win this one by third round TKO. He ended up winning it by decision based on the last two rounds. Apparently he could have won the first round, and I did mention that when I was watching it live. However, I gave it to Dalcha Lungiambula in the first round, but I definitely gave the second and the third round to Marc-Andre Barriult. It's just great cardio and non-fast twitch muscle fibers versus fast twitch muscle fibers. You just have to find a way to work around it and not trade openly or stay at range. Marc-Andre Barriult knew he had to shell up, he had to take a couple of big bombs, and then go after Dalcha Lungiambula when it mattered, whenever he started to slow down, and that's exactly what he did in rounds 2 and 3. A very great fight, very much enjoyable. I gave the round 1 to Dalcha Lungiambula. I thought he landed a couple of takedowns that maybe would have secured him it, especially at the end of round 1, and he landed a couple of good shots as well. Round 2 I gave to Marc-Andre Barriult. He actually looked like he was hurting Dalcha Lungiambula a couple of times in that round, and Lungiambula, man, real muscled up guy, a lot of power, you can see it, but like if you can see the shots coming and you're Marc-Andre Barriult and you've got a decent chin, you can just take those shots by shelling up. I think Dalcha needs to maybe work on setting things up a little bit more. Like maybe if he would have pumped a couple of jabs out there and then went with the overhand, maybe Marc-Andre would be caught in the middle of throwing a counter shot. Maybe he'd be caught with his guard down in the middle of something else, maybe reacting to the jab, leaning back. I think Dalcha needs to stop winging one big shot at a time and start setting things up a little bit, but I picked Marc-Andre Barriult to win. I thought he'd get it done by third round TKO, and in all honesty, if there was a minute left in that third round, Dalcha was completely gassed out, and Marc-Andre probably would have TKO'd him in that third round. Great scrap though to start off the card. It got better and better as it went on, and to be fair, Dalcha showed a lot of heart to stay in there, landing big shots back. The only thing that annoyed me about this fight was the fact that Dalcha Lungiambula was so intentionally going for eye pokes just to get a breather. He got one eye poke in the third round and got a bunch of time to get his breath back there, and also got a groin shot in the second round as well that wasn't intentional. He was going for a knee, but he kept going for eye pokes against Marc-Andre Barriult almost intentionally just to get a bit of a breather. And I honestly think if he didn't have that breather in the third round of about 2 minutes to get his breath back, he probably would have been finished in that third round by Marc-Andre Barriult. But great performance by Marc-Andre. Moving on up the card, Julian Erosa versus Charles Jourdain. What an upset here. Julian Erosa gets it done again on short notice. He finishes a guy on full camp in the third round. I mean, I picked Jourdain to win by first round TKO. I thought he'd get it done there. Julian Erosa showed what he's all about. He's got great heart. He's got a great chin. He got dropped at one moment in the second round. It was actually exactly the same as the Sean Woodson fight. Erosa, I thought, won the first round. I thought Jourdain won the second round. Very close on strikes. However, I thought Jourdain landed, of course, the punch that knocks down Julian Erosa in the second. So it was 1-1 going into the third. I actually thought Jourdain was about to win the third and was on his way maybe to doing quite good. Then Erosa starts landing some decent body shots towards the second half of the round. Couple of good knees to the body as well. Takes down Charles Jourdain a couple of times. And as Jourdain's getting back to his feet, little bit exhausted, little bit lazy, he gets put into I think it was a Bravo choke in all honesty. I think it was a Bravo choke. It wasn't a Darce choke. It says it was a Darce choke in the clinch. I don't think it was, but either way, Charles Jourdain gets a submission win in round 3. Great performance by Charles Jourdain, man. Really latched up the submission. No. Julian Erosa gets a decision, a finish in round 3, latches up the choke, and gets the win. Charles Jourdain has to tap. It's crazy to me how that works. Julian Erosa should take fights on short notice more often. He took a full camp fight with Sung Woo Choi, gets flattened and immediately KO'd. He loses other fights that he takes on full camp. He takes this one on a week's notice. He submits the guy in the third round. Great cardio by Erosa, man. He's a big guy for the division. He put it on Charles Jourdain where he needed to. Great performance by him. Moving on up the card, Jack Shaw versus Liudvik Sholinian. I mean, it wasn't the finish that people wanted out of Jack Shaw here. I think people saw this one as maybe like okay, Jack Shaw's going to get a rear naked choke. He's going to get the win. He'll get a nice finish onto his record, and he'll get a bunch of hype because of it. But instead, we got something in some ways a little bit worse, but in some ways a little bit better. We got to see a bit more of Jack Shaw's game. We saw that his stand-up is incredibly technical. His jab is amazing. His leg kicks are really good. He had good body kicks as well. Couple of good right hands following up the jab. Couple of uppercut left hook combos as well. Jack Shaw's stand-up looked really good, but Sholinian was just wading into shots over and over and over again. Could we have asked for a finish from Jack Shaw? Maybe that would have been a bit better for an opponent coming in on short notice, but, you know, I just said Julian Erosa just beat Charles Jourdain, so I don't think we can even look at short notice anymore to determine who's going to win a fight. So I think Jack Shaw looked amazing. Let's be real. I know people are going to say, you didn't finish him. You didn't look amazing. You didn't completely dominate every round. You didn't ragdoll him against the cage. Liudvik Sholinian is a national wrestler. Like, he's an amazing wrestler out of Ukraine, I believe it is, or a country like that. And Jack Shaw just schooled him, which is interesting to see him do, because he barely got touched in that fight. I think he got caught with, like, I want to say 5 decent shots. Other than that, they were all a bit of nothingness. Couple of knees in the clinch here and there. Couple of punches in the clinch here and there. Other than that, Jack Shaw basically got out of there completely untouched, other than about 2 punches that landed clean from Liudvik. Great win by Jack Shaw. He wants a ranked opponent next. I don't know if he's going to get one for beating a short notice guy who wasn't even ranked in the UFC outside the top 15 or not, but we'll see how it goes for Jack Shaw. Great win, and he'll just keep on moving forward. Plus, he was injured going into that fight, so that's pretty good. Moving on up the card, Molly McCann versus Yeon Kim. I thought this was fight of the night 100%. Amazing scrap back and forth. I gave it to Molly McCann. I thought the first round could be Molly McCann's, but Yeon Kim landed more, so I thought, you know what, Yeon Kim will give her the first round. I also, I thought the judges would take into consideration that she got a knockdown because there was a head clash, and Molly McCann got knocked down in the first round, and you know how the judges are. They're going to kind of just see it for Yeon Kim in that first round. They all gave it 29-28, so they were actually thinking that Yeon Kim won that first round based on the knockdown, but good win in the first round for Yeon Kim. But Molly McCann, man, she is a grinder. She has got grit. She is tough. She walks opponents down, and she goes after them if they allow her to. And Yeon Kim just didn't establish her range. She had a 10-inch reach advantage, but Molly McCann was out jabbing her. Check hooking her jab. 10-inch reach advantage for Yeon Kim. She's getting check hooked off of her jab. Like, great performance by Molly McCann. 99% of her strikes were landed at distance, at a 10-inch reach disadvantage. Absolutely crazy. Great win by Molly McCann. The third round was amazing as well. She really poured it on at the end in the third round. Made sure that she got herself the win by just going after Yeon Kim, screaming in her face. And it was a definite fight of the night performance, and they both got 50k, so good for them. Amazing win for Molly McCann. I picked her to win by decision 29-28, and she got it done by decision 29-28. Moving on up the card to the main card. Paddy Pimblett versus Luigi Vendramini. We've got a star on our hands, but I told you his boxing is suspect, okay? I said it from the start. I said it in my prediction video. He keeps his hands down, he keeps his chin way up in the air, and he so almost got punished for that, but he has a granite chin, and he's very, very lucky that he has a granite chin. And that's good things to know moving forward. He's got a great chin on him. He took massive shots off Luigi Vendramini, and Vendramini can crack. You could see that in the fight, the impact on those shots he was landing on Paddy Pimblett. He landed a bunch of good shots on Paddy, but Paddy stayed very composed, landed some leg kicks, checked a couple of leg kicks of Luigi's, which I think actually changed the tide a little bit as well. Luigi would go for a leg kick, Paddy would check it perfectly, and you could see Luigi kind of go, fuck, really? Now my fucking shin's messed up? Either way, Paddy Pimblett put the pressure on where he needed to, got scrappy when he needed to, beat Luigi Vendramini in a close-range encounter at the end of the first round, caught him with a big punch, went for an uppercut, caught him again, then caught him again, then caught him some more, then put it on him real badly, then put him against the cage with a big right hand, and put in the finishing touches with a bunch of hooks, over and over and over again, putting out Luigi Vendramini in the first round, and getting a walk-off KO for himself. Paddy Pimblett announced himself on the scene. It's risky to say that he's going to be a champ moving forward. Don't get me wrong. Like, he had a good performance, but it's very risky to say, he's going to be champ. He's going to be a top 15 guy. But I really love watching him fight because it's so chaotic. It's amazing. And he seems to, the vast majority of the time, and 17 out of 20 times, let's just say, he seems to come out on top of the chaos. Great win by Paddy Pimblett. Great octagon interview. Great personality to have in the UFC. He had the American Vegas audience chanting Paddy, Paddy at the after fight. It's crazy. Paddy Pimblett gets an amazing win. Risky at times, but puts it on where he needs to and gets a first round KO over Luigi Vendramini. And good for Luigi, man. He showed up. He showed that he was there to fight. He cracked him a couple of times. Just not today. Paddy Pimblett gets it done and recomposes himself after the first half of the first round. Moving on to the second fight on the main card. Modestas Bukauskas versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. Man. Modestas, I feel bad for him. But if they're keeping Sam Alvey, they're keeping Modestas. And that's final, okay? You can't get rid of Woodley and know this, but you're keeping Randa Marcos and you're keeping Sam Alvey. Keep Modestas Bukauskas, because he is young, he has potential. He looked a little bit jittery out there against Khalil, but Khalil hits very hard. You could see that Modestas' game plan was to make it out of the first round, land a couple of good shots here and there, then start to work Khalil in the second round. And honestly, in the second round, was he up on strikes in the second round? I think he was doing pretty good, and Khalil started to show a little bit of signs of fatigue. I picked Modestas Bukauskas to win the second and third round, and a decision because of it, but man, he was starting to do pretty good in the second. 10-5 to Roundtree. What the fuck am I talking about then? Never mind. I thought Modestas was doing okay in the second, started to land a couple of decent shots here and there, but eventually Khalil Roundtree goes for that oblique kick right on the leg of Modestas, and it was also the worst time to receive that oblique kick. Modestas was not setting his stance. He was throwing a check hook at the time, I believe, which turns his knee inwards if he's throwing a correct check hook and wanting to get any power behind it anyway. He turned his knee inwards. That happened, snapped his knee. Not a good sign. I think that's all of the ligaments gone. 100% all of the ligaments gone. Khalil Roundtree gets a second round TKO. Good for Khalil Roundtree, man. A good win. He needed that win. I think if he lost, he definitely would have been cut. Maybe Modestas gets cut from the UFC. If you're keeping Sam Alvey, keep Modestas. I feel bad for him. Let him have one more chance. He's still got a decent record. He's pretty decent at fighting. He should have beat Mikhail Alexeichuk. Let him come back against Sam Alvey. Moving on up the card. Alex Morono versus David Zawada. I had Alex Morono winning this one 3-0 or 2-1. I can actually consider giving David Zawada one of those early 2 rounds. Very close fight, though. I just thought Morono was landing the better punches. Morono in the first, Zawada in the second, I believe it was. It was 1-1 after the second round. Round 3, Morono just barely did enough to make it happen. David Zawada got a takedown at the end, but where's the ground and pound there, dude? Where's the ground and pound to secure that decision for yourself? Either way, he wouldn't have got it. 30-27 on all the judges' scorecards. I thought you could give a round to David Zawada, but I understand. Morono landed more shots to the head. He rocked Zawada a couple of times. Zawada was going to the body quite well, but just not with any power in any way. He was like voluming up the body. And Morono is a bit of a jelly belly as well, so he's not really going to feel any of those shots to the body. But also, if you're going to go to the body that much, you've got to start putting some welly into those shots, because you're just tapping away at a blubber of fat on Morono's stomach that's just left over from his weight loss. Like, he didn't get the finish. No one got the finish, but Morono looked good. The right hand was landing very well all fight long. And for a short notice step up, again, better cardio than the guy who had an 8-week camp. Again, keeps happening. Maybe it's a trend. We'll have to look out for it moving forward. Alex Morono got himself a 30-27 decision. And then he just sent Eminem into hiding in his post-fight speech. The speed at which this guy was talking, I mean, Eminem has not been heard from since that post-fight interview was posted. I've got the top comments on his post-fight interview, and I said I was going to get the top comments in my live stream. I said exactly what I was going to comment, and I said that it's going to be the top comment on that post-fight interview, and it is, because I predict these things. We fucking predict these things, yeah? Moving on to the co-main event, Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Spivak. It does not get better than that. He literally didn't get hit once. And Spivak tried 11 times. And Aspinall didn't get hit once whatsoever in any way, total strike or significant strike. Perfect performance by Tom Aspinall. You couldn't have asked for more. I said he was going to get a first round TKO. Just the way he does it. Like, he moves out the way of everything. He's like a new Cyril Gane, but like maybe with a bit more power. Maybe not as versatile as Cyril Gane. He's not going to throw many head kicks. He's not going to slam kicks to the body or anything like that. He's a more boxing-centric Cyril Gane. Maybe equal footwork in all honesty. He's got great footwork, bouncing in and out non-stop, shifting of angles. I think he's more like a more powerful Cyril Gane that doesn't quite have the skills in all different areas of the stand-up game that Cyril Gane does. Amazing performance by Tom Aspinall. Lands a couple of good knees to the body. I think he actually hurt Spivak with the second knee, then lands the elbow afterwards, slices open Spivak's head, cracks him right on the dome with that elbow, right on the temple. And Aspinall is just also extremely explosive whilst being ridiculously fast and having good cardio and having good technique and having good fight IQ and having good footwork. Heavyweight is on the map. They're actually good fighters now. It's wonderful to watch. Tom Aspinall gets a win in the first round. Calls out Blagoy Ivanov afterwards as well. I like his mindset, man. He's going to make some money, beat a bunch of contenders, step by step by step, not rushing himself. Then we'll see how good he does. I saw Bilal saying him versus Derek Lewis next. No. Okay. He wants Blagojevinov. Let's move him up slowly. We're in no rush. Let's get these new heavyweights up there. We got Taito Ivasa on a resurgence. Tom Aspinall coming up as well. Romanov's going to be coming up soon as well. He's got a fight coming up in the next few weeks. Amazing performance by Tom Aspinall. First round TKO. Great elbow, straight on the face. Cut him open. Finished him off. And for Sergey Spivak, tough outing, but he took it on short notice. We knew what this was. Sacrificial lamb for the slaughter. Great show up by Sergey. Got his show money, and he wouldn't have got his show money if he didn't show up, so he made money this weekend. No other heavyweights did, other than Aspinall, I guess. Moving on up the card to the main event. Derek Brunson versus Darren Till. Derek Brunson takes him down, lays in half guard. Till has no takedown defense. Brunson just takes him down, lays in half guard, and beats the fuck out of him in the first round. I thought it was a 10-8. I'll tell you this, no judges gave that first round a 10-8. Which is interesting to me. I know Till started out a bit strong and landed a couple of decent shots here and there. Brunson kind of mollywopped him in that first round, on the ground. Beat the fuck out of him. Could have got a finish. I thought it was going to be finished by TKO a couple of times. They didn't give any 10-8s out there, which is interesting. I thought it was a 10-8 round in the first for Derek Brunson. Round 2 comes around. Till doing a little bit better on the feet, staying on the feet a little bit longer. Brunson shoots a takedown. Till's legs are right next to each other like a fucking penguin. Down he goes, gets taken down by Derek Brunson. Gets back up at the end of the round, which is a good sign. Third round comes around. Till stuffs a couple of takedowns by not having his legs together like a penguin and getting some underhooks. But then Brunson just eventually gets to take down again whenever Till puts his legs directly together and stands still as he moves backwards. And, yeah, he almost had Brunson done. It's so... I know Brunson won, and good for Brunson, and now he can go on and lose to Izzy and add to that legacy, and Izzy's a GOAT. I get it. But, man, I thought Till was about to turn that tide in the third. I watched it again since reacting to it live. Man, he was about to get on Brunson there. He's about to start putting it on him. Brunson was completely gassed out. I know DC posted specifically saying, and Brunson wasn't even gassed out at all. Brunson was completely gassed out in the third round on the feet. He had nothing. His shots were way slower. He was breathing heavy. He was drenched in sweat all across his shoulders and everything. But Darren Till just fucked it up. Third round, pieces up Brunson quite a bit. Lands good knees to the body. Lands some good leg kicks. Lands some good punches upstairs. Brunson gets a takedown. Till pulls a fucking guillotine. Why are you pulling guillotines? They don't work in high-level MMA. But he pulls a guillotine anyway. Ends up on the ground. Tries a sweep. Ends up in a scramble. And just by sheer goodwill and good luck on Brunson's part, he ends up in mount from the scramble. Till pushes him off. It pushes Brunson into mount on Till. Starts landing some big shots on Till. Till tries to hip escape, roll over, gives up his back, and literally immediately taps the Brunson rear naked choke without any restraint whatsoever. Just immediately, as soon as it was in, he was tapping. So, good job by Derek Brunson. He can go on and lose to Israel Adesanya and add to his legacy for free. And Till can look for the loser of Strickland Rockhold, maybe. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Horrible way to end the fucking card, but a great card other than that. Thank you for watching, guys. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.